Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hi, good morning. It's it's not. It's Thursday.
It's your Friday.
It is my Friday. Glad you're with us for Second Cup.
You need David's stage manager.
I know, Michelle. She just retired. If you watch World News, you know what we're talking about. They just did a piece and a farewell.
Cutest story. So nice. And we always talk about how it actually is hard to remember what day it is.
It
when
is
you say
so
it over and
hard.
over again.
Why is it so hard?
Well, you're ready for a little mini vacay.
I am. A 3-day weekend, a holiday weekend, celebrating our nation's independence. I love 4th of July. It is one of my favorite holidays. It has always been one of my favorite
You know what's one of my
holidays.
dad's favorite holidays, too? Because he loves the summer. Middle of the summer,
Yes,
yeah.
it's just the best.
Yeah.
It is my Friday out at 1 today. Good for you, Danielle.
Nice, Danielle.
That's awesome.
Enjoy.
Um,
I like how at the end of the show today, Ed was like, have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
for Friday.
For Friday. And then I said to Menkowski, what do you think his will means?
By
It's
wheel,
me and Menkowski.
I mean you.
You guys. You got a boat day planned?
Yes.
What happened, Katie? The 6 months wasn't long enough for
Oh, ouch.
I would love for you to enjoy the quote unquote vacation that I was just on, John. To anyone who thinks maternity leave is a vacation, you can beat it.
A baby's all I ever wanted. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to a vacation.
Why don't you call up Paul and ask how much of a vacation he's been having?
E.
It's a lot of work. They're even more demanding than you, as I said.
Bless you.
Anita, you know it's not a vacation. Lord.
We're going to talk about needing a vacation from your vacation.
But we actually are talking about vacations,
Right.
yes. Mhm.
Coming up in just a bit. But first, I want to update you on some breaking news that we've been following all morning long. This in Buffalo's Larkinville Valley neighborhood. It's kind of right in the middle of both of those neighborhoods. This fire that we're now getting some new information on Walter Street. Take a look at this video that was from Buffalo Fire Department's Helmets and Hose
Boy,
Wagons.
that fire's really going there.
Yeah, about 3:30, 3:45 this morning. I mean, it was a pretty big fire, two alarm, which means that there were more than 60 firefighters at the scene.
Yeah, they got there, and then you could hear them call for more equipment, and then they were calling for more, made it a 2-alarm, call for more firefighters.
So we just found out that right now there are 5 people forced from their home because of this fire. 5 adults, 3 from the lower unit here, and 2 from the upper unit. So this is 116 Walter. Total loss here estimated at almost $200,000 for the building, and then $100,000 worth of stuff inside.
Just happy to hear nobody was hurt here,
Right.
which is what's important. And I'm no firefighter.
But
I play one on TV. No, you have to assume they were kind of fighting that one from the outside.
Oh,
As you
yeah.
take a look at that, and you're like, wow, it's
well,
unbelievable.
for a while. So if you watch that video, you kind of see the progression of that fire.
and they're putting water on it and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just going.
But then they eventually back up and they just,
Safety first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jason says that's the Seneca Babcock neighborhood. I hope that everyone's okay. Yeah, absolutely. We do too. How awful is right. Yeah. Prayers for the families. And like when they're working fires in this kind of heat as it is, I mean, it's 64 degrees. It's
Yeah,
not
it
like
wasn't
it's
too
the
bad,
hottest,
but- right.
but it's warm.
Yeah.
So it just kind of adds to
Gotta stay
the
hydrated.
issues. Yeah. Peter says, good morning. I love the blue. Thank you.
Thanks.
One other story that we're following this morning is the House vote on that big, beautiful bill, or as some of the Democrats call it, the big, ugly bill. So,
There's been discussion about this. Well, not
All
just
night.
this morning. I was going to say not just this morning, for weeks, right? It's President Trump's big, beautiful bill. He wanted it on his desk by tomorrow. Here's the big question. Is that going to happen?
right. So here we are. I mean, House representatives are literally on the floor and have been all night discussing this bill because it had to go to the Senate. They voted on it once. It passed by one vote. They sent it to the Senate. The Senate voted on it. It passed by one vote. The vice president, the tiebreaker here. Now they've got to send it back to the
Back
House.
it comes because they've got to agree.
And basically what they're now voting on is all of the amendments that were added to this after they passed it initially. So they're going back and forth talking about this.
John, do we have the ability to take that live? Okay, so listen in here.
Live a life of dignity and respect. And that as a result, of the all-out Republican assault on health care in the United States of America, people will die. Tens of thousands, perhaps year after year after year, as a result of the Republican assault on the health care of the American people. I'm sad. I never thought that I'd be on the House floor saying that this is a crime scene. And House Democrats want no part of it. No part of it. It's a crime scene. Going after the health and the safety and the well-being of the American people. And Mr. Speaker, we want no part of it, which is why we're fighting so hard to stop it. Serving in the United States Congress on this glorious
That's House
floor.
Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. We have been checking in on this for the last, 3 hours at this point?
We first checked in the 5 o'clock hour. He has been speaking this whole time.
He's calling this a crime scene, as you heard. He's saying that it is a crime, essentially, to cut Medicaid and Medicare the way that this bill would, according to the Democrats, while other Republicans would say this is not necessarily cutting the program, it's simply adding requirements for people to essentially get off the program.
And also making sure that should you really need, you know what I mean? You're getting it only if you really need it. Let's see what everybody's saying. Diane says, so many speakers speaking against it. How is it passing?
Well, so it's passing by one vote,
Sean,
really.
Yep. Let's pull up Sean's comment. Good morning, Katie and Ed. Being disabled, this scares me. I may lose my health care.
So, Sean, we're so glad that you're with us and able to share your voice. Can you dig in a little bit more? What is the thought here? Obviously, when you're saying that it scares you, what's the alternative? We were talking about this yesterday. So you go off, you get, lose your health care. What happens?
Yeah. And Sean, do you, if you don't mind sharing with us, how do you have to qualify repeatedly? You know what I mean? Do you have to go through a continuous process? Tell us a little bit more, if you don't mind.
I also wonder why you fear that you would lose your health care. Like, what's the biggest concern here? Because really what they're saying here, the Republicans are saying that this would, if you meet certain criteria, I believe, then you would not get cut. But, if you're able to work and under these certain parameters, then, yes, you would lose it, essentially.
Interesting.
I'm interested, Sean, in hearing more about what you're thinking.
Sean says, here we go. I have no health care. I lose everything. If I have no health care, I lose everything immediately. And yes, it's a 3-year process. So he's worried maybe he falls into a category where you would lose it and then you have to go through the process of gaining it again.
If I lose my medications, I can die not taking them, Sean says. Wow.
Mary says she has mixed feelings on this, especially with health care and Medicaid.
Mm-hmm. Marguerite says, I hope Trump supporters are happy. Cindy, though, says it would lower taxes. People take advantage of the system. And that's the theory behind the Republicans pushing this bill through. It would give a tax break, though, to the most wealthy while cutting health care potentially for many people.
Peter says cutting Medicaid is a crime. There are those who can't afford health insurance, such as the marketplace insurance. Yes, people have to qualify for Medicaid.
So to my point, Cindy says it lowers the tax on the rich, not the poor.
Right.
And then Mark says they want to cut Medicare, but you're paying for it with your Social Security, $189 a month. And I think there are also probably concerns that Social Security might not even be around in the future. I'm not supporting anything. I'm just pointing it out that, there are two sides to this.
Yeah.
When you look at something objectively, you're saying, okay, on one hand, they want to cut fraud and abuse. On the other hand, there are so many people who would be affected. So you think there has to be a middle ground.
And I kind of wonder if the biggest concern comes, yes, there's concerns about cutting. And then when we talk about having to qualify each time, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that going to be will people lose until they can requalify? It's just that you don't often hear how this will practically go into effect.
Right.
And who's going to be responsible for then, going through all of this.
Sean, we're so glad that we can share your voice here. When you're disabled, you're put on Medicaid. If you're low income for 2 years, then Medicare kicks in and Medicaid is secondary. Karen, thank you very much. Ed is not taking sides. Don't start. Joyce, though, says it's one big mess.
So I just think this may not get to the president's desk tomorrow.
I mean, this has been going on with one person speaking for hours.
And that sometimes is an objective, right?
Right.
You know, sometimes we do. And so then you're done and then the next person takes over. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes.
Lori says there are lots of people that are taking advantage of this. The other Lori says, how are they going to catch the scammers?
Right. So, right.
Well, okay, so here's Melly's point. Working in healthcare, there are many people who abuse these things. Melly, without getting too specific, I'm interested. Maybe you could give us some examples.
What do you see?
Right. Like what give us an example of some of the abuse
Mm-hmm.
that you see here. Because really, I mean, if that's the objective here and we're spending money that is unnecessary, wouldn't we all agree that that is unacceptable?
Yes, I think so. I think that's everybody's point.
Right?
I think that Republicans agree. I think that Democrats agree. Nobody wants anybody who's cheating the system. They just want the system to be available for those who need it.
Exactly.
Barbara said there are two sides, two political parties, and neither appears to want to work together. Everything is so partisan these days.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cindy says it used to be an option to retire at 62. Now I will be lucky to retire at 65 if it's even there. Mary says if you're disabled and single is different from disabled and married. My husband is disabled, not getting Medicaid, only Medicare. When I worked, I paid for a family plan. So
Now-
there are like technicalities here also.
And let's be real, like there's always technicalities with this kind of stuff. And if I'm sure if you've gone through this process, you have made 1,000 phone calls.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, to try to figure it all out. Who can I see? What do I do? Like
And
there
all
are
the red tape.
Right. And so, you hate to see abuse of that system, but you also know like a lot of people who are in desperate need of it.
Okay, so Peter, fill us in here. I've seen some abuse with my line of work as well. I work on the other end of healthcare. So give us again those examples. I mean, I think that's interesting. I mean, what do we not know? And what does, the average person who's seeing this play out in Washington thinks the worst, because to them this is a crisis. But what do we not know that should be spoken about?
Interesting.
Karen says, I work at a place. They will call in 2 days a week to milk all aspects of the system, not just healthcare. That is what needs to stop. Lori says there are tons of people who are too lazy to work and just get benefits through New York State. Megan, good morning. If people had to pay medical bills from emergency department visits, they would go to their primary doctor or urgent care. But a lot of people don't understand how much it actually costs to go to the ED because they never see the bill.
And isn't that part of the reason why emergency rooms are so crowded too?
Ambulance.
Yeah, and if you don't have a primary, a lot of people end up going to the emergency
Right.
room, and maybe you're going there for something, sore throat, cough, like that just lingers, but something that someone else could take care of.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anita, we're all in this together, and ideally working together would be best for everyone, but then nothing gets done.
Interesting.
Yeah, like this is the people's house, right? It's for the people, by the people. The people are not happy. I think we all get that sense, right? We are in a time, a day and age where literally everything is split down the middle.
Jason says, what about those on SSI, SSD? There's a definitive need for healthcare for people who are disabled. Yes, and for people who are elderly.
And and I just want to bring Peter's comment up, and then I want to go back to what Jason has to say, because we asked for an example. Peter telling us an example would be individuals pharmacy hopping, providers charging Medicaid members, which is a no-no. Interesting. Okay. And then Anita says change is scary for a lot of people, me included. Mike, you mentioned like the age. I think of my parents. And neither of them are, working anymore. I mean, they worked their entire lives. They've retired,
Right.
but they're getting health care from, well, I guess my dad's pension, and he was a teacher. So they're getting health care from New York City.
Right.
But if they weren't, what would they do? I mean, my mom is 68, my dad's 71.
Yeah.
Can they work? Sure. Do they want to? Should they have to? I don't know.
There's so many aspects of it too, because when you think about like how expensive things are,
Right.
like health insurance in general, and then the different medications, the different procedures. Like this stuff is really expensive.
Listen to what Rosemary says. We are all just one moment from a life-changing event that could be catastrophic. Have some compassion.
It's true.
I wonder though, like, where does empathy and compassion thanks, Dad. Where does empathy and compassion fall in policy? Do you know, like, if I'm a lawmaker and I'm developing this kind of
Yeah.
do you know what I'm saying?
Well, okay, so I think her point would be access needs to be there for the people who need it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and maybe they fall under the category of they're the people who are able, that they need to be able to get help. You know, you don't want to be pulling that away from them, is what I'm thinking. So that access still needs to be there. I don't know.
Peter says people fall on hard times. They need Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
Empathy and compassion don't fit in his politics. I believe we're talking about.
Mary
the
says,
president.
I don't understand why someone needs to get a prescription for Advil or Tylenol instead of buy a generic type. Why? Because it's free versus dollars. So that's true. You can get a prescription for like ibuprofen, you know, like post surgery or post whatever, and then your insurance would cover it. I don't know. That doesn't bother me if you need it.
Or if
because
it's like
if
a
you're-
higher dose.
Yeah, but like even if it's not a higher dose, like if you need it and you're putting the money out for it through your insurance, because you are paying for your insurance most times, you know, and I understand, right, the system, you know, then there are some people who don't. But like for a person who's putting money into their own health insurance for them to get a prescription for something, like I think that makes sense to me.
You know what? I think maybe here's the privilege. I suppose, I don't know, for lack of a better term, like we are so fortunate to have healthcare, right? We are
Right.
so fortunate to get it through work, no less. You know, and if you're married, through your spouse potentially.
But you're paying for it.
Right, exactly. But I guess my point is that I don't know what the other side is,
Right.
because frankly, I've never had to live that experience.
Right.
And you know, I think fewer and fewer people are having to live that experience as young people, especially because we're on our parents' plans until 26,
Right.
or, you know, we can get that insurance through the marketplace. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation.
It is. All right, we have to also talk about vacation. I don't want to just talk about this because I
Okay.
did see somebody who already commented on the vacation story.
All right, vacation from vacation.
We'll continue to comment if you want to, and we'll pull some of them out, but we'll get a little levity. How about that?
Okay, hold on. Period at the end of the sentence here. My dad is a former doctor as well. So he left his career in medicine to become a teacher. The rhetoric obscures the fact that the rate of growth in Medicaid will be reduced, which isn't an actual reduction in the program. So it's rhetoric, he says. The rate of growth in Medicaid will be reduced, which isn't an actual reduction in the program. Okay. Melly, vacation, what is that? Let me tell you, I love vacation. I love it. Use it or lose it, baby. But then I need a vacation from when I come back from vacation.
So this was the story that we had today. Do you need a vacation? Have you ever had a vacation where you needed a vacation when you come back?
Yes.
So we were kind of talking about this. I think there's two kinds of vacation. That you just saw one where the ladies were laying on the beach. Like that's a kind of vacation I can really get behind. But I can also get behind we are in this place for a limited amount of time and
Yeah.
we need to see everything we can.
I agree. I think those vacations are exhausting.
They are.
It's so cool to see everything.
It is.
But at the
you
same
are
time,
tired.
right.
Yes.
You know, you wanna relax at some point after, you know, you've taken this time that you've earned and that you deserve from work.
And like, let's say you get to go somewhere to like in Europe, you know, and you're like, I'm obviously not coming here often.
Right.
So let me get as much as I can. And my mom and I did a trip once, and I mean, it was one of those like 6 a.m. you're up
Mm-hmm.
and ready to go and on the bus.
Oh my God,
or you're getting out the door because you want to see everything, and you got to get to all the places.
I know.
Maximize your time,
And you got to in those cases.
right? Because you're not often doing that.
Exactly. And it's a lot of money. It's a once in a lifetime experience in many cases.
100%,
And you
yes.
want to see everything and
Yeah.
experience. Jeff Baker says, looking at Bolt Castle right now, I loved Bolt Castle.
A-Bay.
It was so cool.
It's beautiful there.
In the basement, they have all of like the Italian tiles that were shipped over that were never used. John, have you been to Bold Castle? Oh my God, you got to go before you go back home.
Drive through the Thousand Islands. It's so pretty.
It is so cool. I mean, this massive, massive castle was built by this man, Bolt, for his wife who died before the castle was finished. And he just kind of left it there. And it sat vacant and empty for years and years and years until it was finally restored and you can go in there and take tours. But I mean, then there's even a carriage house
Oh, it's beautiful.
or the boat house. And it's like the man cave.
The Thousand Islands is just like such a pretty area. I love it up there. I have really good friends that live up there. We've gone a couple times.
Marlena,
Marlena.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Get on the boat, drive around. That's what Jeff Baker, I'm sure, is going to be doing
Oh,
today.
it's so cool. Denise, usually I feel like I need a day or two after my vacation just to recuperate.
So we used to say we would love a vacation at home. I know you've said that before too. Like when you are hanging out at the house for a little bit, like you're like, I just got to get some stuff done this vacation.
Right.
Like I'm going to relax, but maybe I'm going to see my friends and I'm going to get done the 2 things that I've been dying to get done at the house. I didn't mind a vacation at home. I've taken them
No,
before.
me too.
Staycations.
So we're going away in August and really looking forward to that. But you know, it's a long trip away, and my thought is, okay, like I'm gonna need some time.
But you got to power through. Oh,
recuperate.
well, you do, right? Because you've got,
Time change, everything.
and you've got a long trip. You're taking a long trip, my
Sure
friend.
am. I know. Sorry.
Do you have any days off though after?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh, good.
I don't come back until after Labor Day.
No, Oh, okay. But when do you get back? But when do you get
Like,
back from your trip?
Like before the
If you
before the
say-
month
if
ends.
you say it quietly, the bosses can't hear you. Okay, well that's good.
Why are you going to consider postponing Iceland?
Oh, that sounds
No.
nice. Iceland.
One of my friends was just in Greenland and said it was the coolest, most unique trip.
Who said? Wait, somebody had a good. Oh, it was Joyce who said you can't leave her cats. She must have. I have the hardest time. We are going on vacation at some point this summer too, and I think I'm getting I've got banded into daycare, but I might get a house sitter for part of the time too to have him
I
be
get
able to be
that.
at his house. I just he gets so tired, and I just love him to pieces. I don't want him to be uncomfortable.
I understand. You need him to be spoiled.
He's used to sleeping in a king size bed, people.
He is the king.
He's the king.
Mark says if you fly for your vacation, you need a few days to relax. That's true. I need a head we can hear you.
Anita's saying she can't go because of her knee.
My
Hang in
next
there, I hope it
vacation
gets
is not
better.
until August with family again to Myrtle Beach. That's so fun.
Sometimes I like a good 3-day weekend too,
Ah.
just to take a little day to get some stuff done.
Yes.
Although I got to tell you, I think my 3-day weekends are going to be different now because
Well,
in the past I used to be
thank
able
you.
to just kind of chill. And
Now, when you go away in August, are you taking the baby with you?
no, we're going to leave him at home.
Well, are you leaving? Are your parents going? Why don't-
I don't know. They might be,
Oh.
but yeah, we're taking our baby on vacation.
I don't know. Maybe you're leaving with like Paul's parents. I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're going to be around, right?
No,
Will
actually.
you just drop him off with Uncle Ed.
Yeah. Well, he's 2 steps
That's
ahead.
what you do, right? You have a baby and then you just leave.
Well, I don't know.
Take him on vacation.
Okay, wait. Funny story. Years and years ago, does everyone remember Nick Filipowski? He's now
Yeah.
working in Williamsville. But years ago, he had a baby.
Now
and
he's got a lot of babies.
and I think this one in particular is probably like 10, which is hysterical.
It was his first baby, and we were all so excited.
Right.
So cute.
And he brought the baby into work one morning or one afternoon. I think it was maybe a weekend. I don't remember. We were working weekends at that point too. And
I'm going to tell you how old the baby was. I'm pretty sure at that point she was about 9 weeks old.
and tell everyone what I had asked.
She was a tiny little nugget. Of course, I'm like, can I hold her, please? And here I am cradling this tiny baby. She's so sweet. And this one goes, oh, she's so cute. Is she walking? I was like, Ed, the baby we're counting her age in weeks at this point.
Oh
Like,
my
I was
God.
like, she was inside a human like a couple months ago.
I think I was probably 28
oh,
years
that's so
old. I
cute.
had no idea about children, which is so funny because some of my friends had already at that point had 2 or 3 kids. And I was just gay as the day is long, still am, and I had no
a
idea.
tiny baby like that just walking around. Imagine like this big.
Oh God, yeah. I had no idea. I didn't know.
Now you know.
I honestly also never really was around young kids, like babies. I was never around when they were growing up like that. I mean, now I have 4 nieces and nephews, and frankly, I wouldn't know how to live without them.
Well, now you see them from the start. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like a lot of times when your friends have kids, you see them when they're a couple years old. You know,
Right.
if they were downstate, maybe you go back to see them, and like now you got to see Logan from the start, so you'll see when he starts to do all this different stuff.
My God, Paula, Jesus! Oh my God. Well, and now you're right. I mean, I've witnessed
Now you have a
Logan's
concept.
evolution.
Now, now you can watch the evolution.
They are working as soon as they
He's
pop out.
He's starting to roll. So there you go.
well.
Put that into perspective. He's not quite walking yet. I know. Oh, well, that's great. I'm gonna leave Logan with your parents.
You should. Oh my God, they would
and then
love
off
it.
I go.
Do you have a pic of you in your mom's arms walking? No. You're right. I guess I should have put it into perspective at that point.
I saw my friend's baby the other day who just turned a year, and she, with hands, is taking a couple little steps. Oh,
No.
it's so cute. It really, honestly, it blows my mind how little they are when they do start walking.
I mean, at some points, less than a year.
And also, like, I know our baby will start crawling. You know, he's rolling now. We have looked around our house, and even my parents are looking around their house. We're all like,
Well, you got
I know.
a lot of stuff.
I got a playpen now, so
Oh,
that's
good.
that's gonna be my saving grace for a little bit until I guarantee he'll figure out how to get out of it. I feel like that's what they do. So, I would leave Logan with Ed.
I'm a really good
Ed
babysitter.
would do everything in his power to take care of him. He
Yeah.
might not know what he was doing, but he would try everything. Like I know you would try everything, and then I know you'd call me and you'd be,
Oh, yeah.
what do I do? What do I do?
Anal.
He would, but you would give it all a shot.
Yes. Absolutely. Because, like I've got a caring heart.
Yeah. Oh my god. And like you would never let him cry.
No.
If you would try to stop him if he was crying. Sometimes you can't.
Just rock him, right?
Sure. Last night, sometimes they hit their point. We call it like the witching hour, right?
Yeah.
They hit their point. It's right before bed, and still got to do the bedtime stuff. You got to change the diaper. You got to put the jammies on. You got to do all that stuff, and they just scream through it sometimes.
You know what's funny? When, like, I don't know, let's say it was probably Adriana hated me when she was a baby, and would not come near me. She wouldn't go near anyone, frankly. But
Sometimes they get really attached.
she was a pandemic baby, and
yeah.
I would want to hold her, and she'd just start screaming. I'm like, okay, here you go, back to mom you go.
Last night, I mean, Logan, he just hit a point last night where he really was screaming. And Paul goes, Logan, respectfully, enough.
Paul said that?
Yeah, the baby is just screaming. Respectfully.
At least he's kind about it.
It was really funny because honestly, he was just in that hitting the end of and we were trying to do all the things. You're trying to do them as fast as you can, and the baby's just screaming their little heads off.
Sherry says, loved the playpen. You get so much done.
Yeah, so I got a playpen and a mat because every time he can be on his little mat right now for a little bit. I swear to God,
Like
I
on his
turned around.
back?
Yeah, no, or on his back. He's having a hard. He can make it from back to his stomach pretty easily now, but then he gets stuck there.
Oh.
So then I have to help him get remember we can roll this way too.
Oh,
And
that's
he's like,
funny.
"What?"
Well, because he forgot. Love it, Paul. I know. Paul is so funny. Where do you think?
Logan, respectfully.
I just want to go quickly back to the comments here about vacation. Shonda says vacations are becoming a luxury. They are expensive. I know. I'm telling you, cruising though. Oh my God, wait, did you watch Poop Cruise on Netflix?
Of course I did.
It was so good. I mean, it was 55 minutes. I didn't love the way it ended. It was like, and they all had a good time. But like, it was so fascinating watching this on Netflix. Have you watched it, John? Oh, you've got to watch it. Okay.
It's kind of gross, so just settle up. I mean, the name of it is.
Poop Cruise.
This is, you know what you got yourself into. But like, I remember watching the ship
Yeah.
on CNN. You know what I mean, and like how they were covering it so much. So I was like, oh, I got to watch this.
It was good. It was really fascinating.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, we got to get the show on the road. Hope you have a safe 4th of July. Katie and Aaron are here tomorrow.
So
And,
I have a question.
What?
Who runs this tomorrow? Oh, Jordan.
You'll probably be downstairs.
Oh, and then Oh. I was just checking.
It's been a while.
Okay, so apparently it'll be me and Aaron tomorrow downstairs. Got it.
I did say Poop Cruise. You have to watch it on Netflix. One
Yes.
of those shows that
Yeah,
you'll remember.
it's called Trainwreck, is like the series,
Yeah.
right? Mhm.
All right, see you later. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.